time for the interactive segment, and we're going to be opening the phone lines just right away. But today we're going to be talking about ASUU. ASUU threatens to go on strike again. What's your take? Now, the Academic Staff Union of Universities have issued a fresh 14-day ultimatum to the federal government, and their demands include conclusion of the 2009 federal government ASUU agreement, renegotiation based on 2021 NIMI Breaks Committee draft, and payment of salaries withheld due to 2022, 8-month industrial action. ASUU's president, Imawolo Sodeke, condemns government's lack of commitment and delay tactics, citing crisis in public universities. So to join this conversation, you can call or drop a WhatsApp message via the number shown on your TV screen. And please, as you call, do well to stay away from your TV screen or turn down the volume of your TV set so we could hear you appropriately and would have a conversation with you. And also, while you're calling, do well to keep your opinions and your thoughts in a very civil way, because we're very mindful in Nigeria. We're very cautious, and we have a high level of moral values here. So please let your opinion be very cautious and mindful. Well, do well to call in. The phone lines are open. We'd love to hear your thoughts. The ASUU strike that has been going on and on, there's been this back and forth between ASUU and the federal government from time to time. So we'd love to know what's your thought on it, and what's the way forward. Can there ever be a lasting solution between ASUU and the federal government? I mean, would there be a point where we'd come to where issues of strike and issues surrounding the education sector is a done deal, because we have quality lecturers, we have enough classrooms, we have enough materials to ensure that our education sector is booming? At what point will we come to that stage where all of this will be fully resolved? And when it comes to what ASUU wants at this point, is it okay to say that ASUU are putting excessive pressure on the government, seeing the realities of Nigeria at this point in time? And we understand that the lecturers also have their own points to play. At this point, who is to blame between ASUU and the federal government? I mean, is the federal government doing enough to resolve the issues with ASUU, or does ASUU need to consider another alternative or renegotiate one way or another? Let's take this call. Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Lilian.
Hello, can you hear me?
My name is Lilian, calling from Daybreak.
All right, I could barely hear you. The network is breaking, but go ahead. Let's see if we can get to hear what
Hello?
you have. Yeah, okay, go ahead now. Let me hear you.
My name is Lilian, calling from Daybreak.
All right, our caller from Benue say thank you. So what's your thought on our conversation this morning, between ASUU and the federal government? Please do well to call us back. They will seem to be having a little network glitch. We have two numbers, so you could reach out to any of the numbers. If one is not connecting, I'm very sure the other will be going. And to our caller from Benue State, I would really love to hear what it is you have to say. So please do well to call us back so we can hear your thoughts on the conversation this morning. ASUU has threatened to go on another strike. We remember the last 8-month strike that happened that kept our children at home for a very long time. So what's your take on it? Can a common ground be found at this point in time? And who is to blame? Is it the federal government or ASUU? Is the federal government doing enough, or is ASUU doing too much? Let's take this call. Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Shetima. I'm calling from Maiduguri.
All right. Good morning, Shetima from Maiduguri. How is Maiduguri this morning?
Good morning, Maiduguri. We are managing live. We are pushing live. Here it comes.
Hello, Shetima, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Lilian.
All right. Well, we're glad things are going well. We hope that things will be resolved fully and the water would recede and people will be able to go back to their lives. We understand that things are really difficult, but our prayers are going out to the people in Maiduguri.
Lilian, very, very, very difficult. Very, very difficult. But those we are hoping, and we are appealing to Nigerians to put us in prayers.
Yes, we will put our prayers out to the people there, and we hope things will resolve back as soon as possible. But what's your thought on our topic for this morning? ASUU has threatened to go.
Well, ASUU and the federal government. Well, you see, ASUU is not their intention to go on strike all the time, but rather, government of Nigeria, that is the only language that they can hear. You see, the way federal government neglected the federal university is very, very unfortunate. You can agree with me, during the time of all these our leaders, they have enjoyed university education as free as anything. And now they come to the power, they neglected the sector that built them. This is the center where they build them, they become a better person. But instead for them to be committed and look after this sector, they neglected the sector. This is the truth of the matter. Now, if you go to university, you will shed tears. Before, it was only 3 people in a room, but now they gather them like a sardine in a team. A room, look, in olden days, I can remember, in the university, you have free laundry services. You have free laundry services. In your lecture theaters, you have ASUU. When the economy of this country is not good as now, the government is making money, but they neglected education sector. That is the truth of the matter. I was not blaming ASUU in any way.
All right.
They're going to the strike all the time. That's the only language federal government is listening. And you see, they will go for agreement with ASUU. They will not respect the agreement. How many times is uncountable? So it is, the truth of the matter is, I'm not blaming, it was only the government that is to blame.
All right.
If you look at it, not only education, not only university education, all sector of life, government have neglected it. Government is not giving health, government is not giving security, government is not providing anything for the people. So that's the problem that we're facing in this country. But we are praying and we are hoping things will be better one day. That's my take. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Shatima, for your take this morning. Shatima, thank you very much for calling us there from Borno State. Now, Shatima has come out to say he is not blaming ASUU or holding ASUU responsible for anything. And I understand where he's coming from. The education sector was something enviable. You know, people from other countries would come into Nigeria to school. That was how good our education was. That was how good the universities were. That was how much provisions were made for the universities. But it looks like after a while, you know, despite budgetary allocations to universities, we still find that nothing is being done, no improvements are being made, lecturers are not being paid as at when due. But at the same time, with this regular ASUU strikes off and on, what impact does this have on our students? Let's take this call. Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from? Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm Haruna Auta from Taraba State.
Haruna Auta, thank you very much for joining us. How is Taraba this morning?
We thank God, God is in control.
All right, Haruna. So what's your take on this whole ASUU and federal government back and forth? Who's to blame, ASUU, the government?
I want to talk about the ASUU and the federal government.
Yeah, go ahead, Haruna.
They have been going on strike for so many years. They are reaching agreement. Federal government of Nigeria should give attention to what the country education is demanding. Nigeria is rich enough to handle this very matter once and for all. Why are they diverting their attention? Is it because their children are not in Nigerian public school? The federal government should rise, and I'm not even casting blame. It is their responsibility to meet the needs of the ASUU. I look at their propaganda. Every year they say they will do it. Every year they say they will do it. Please, our own commitment to education of Nigeria should enter the heart of the federal government. They can solve this matter once and for all. And ASUU will go on their normal activity and allow our children advancing. Okay. This is my own contribution, please.
All right, but a quick question. At this point now, do you think the students can, what role do you think students can play? Is there a way students can, assist to convince the government? What role can students play in this debate?
our students, I know they will not be happy. The student union government, together with the ASUU, every time they used to lift up their voice and cry and plead with the federal government. The students standing on their own and aligning with the ASUU, the federal government should hear is the voice of Nigerian masses. So student body should rise up and join their lecturers and cry out. Their lecturers are rising on their behalf. ASUU is crying on the behalf of the students. So I don't think there's any student that hearing that ASUU will be going on trial that will be happy. I know they are not happy. But we are pleading them also to take a positive step. Join the ASUU, cry with one voice, and plead for Nigerian government to take major please.
All right. Thank you very much for that, your opinion. Thank you for your opinion this morning. It's good to have heard your thoughts on what the students can do to help. Like it or not, the students also bear the brunt of this because they are the ones in the school hoping to gain higher education and hoping to move on with life and develop careers. But with the strike, it holds them back. So they are a crucial factor in this. Let's take this call. Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Good morning. My name is Umar Farouk, coming from Central Local Government of Katsina State.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us. How's Katsina this morning?
My take on this issue of the impending ASUU strike is that this government doesn't seem to be sensitive about the plight of the common man. They are trying to pauperize the populace in every aspect they can. Now, if the children of the common man cannot afford to go to the university for their education, where else do they think such children can go? On their own part, I mean the elite, the political class, they have the means to be able to send their children abroad. But here, they don't care. While we are struggling here in Nigeria, their children are there abroad. Within 2 or 3 years, they get their degrees and master's degrees, and they come back here. Jobs are waiting for them, lucrative jobs. So I think the ASUU should try to be very serious on this one. If the education system will collapse, finally, let it collapse. Actually, right now, the standard of our education is at the lowest age. You cannot compare it with any system in the world. Ours is the most backward. And this government promised to take some reasonable steps to amend the anomaly. But now we are understanding that it is all deceit. This is the hallmark of this government. Deceit on a daily basis. They are deceiving us, and karma is already warming up. It will catch up with them. We will not relent to be invoking the powers of God, heavenly powers to intervene to save this country in the hands of these insensitive people. Thank you. That's my take.
Thank you very much. Well, like he said, it's almost like a ticking time bomb. The back and forth between ASUU and the federal government is something that has been on and on and on for years. We've seen people, make up their minds that they don't even want to go to school anymore. They just want to, learn a skill, especially during that last 8-month long strike they had. We've seen parents having to dig deep into their pockets to move their children to private universities just because they want them to move on with lives. And those who can't afford it have to wait till whenever the strike is being called off to move on with their lives. So in as much as it's not just ASUU and the government, there's the students, there's also the parents whom I want this child to finish school and make a living for yourself and take care of me as your parent at the end of the day. But all of this is being put on hold because of ASUU strike, because agreement and necessary funding and requirements to move the education system forward is not being done. So yes, as a Nigerian, what are your thoughts on the ASUU strike? Share your contributions. What are your thoughts on the threatened strike? We want to hear what it is you have to say. Good morning. Let's take this call. Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Good morning. My name is Adi. I'm calling from London.
Good morning, Ade. Thank you for joining us. So talk to us. What's your thoughts on the threatened ASUU strike?
I think I'm in support of my brother from Maiduguri that called, and I really support everything he said. The one thing I want to differentiate about is this. I think the federal government, they will not sponsor university. What they should do is this: put them in proper shape and allow the university to be taking care of themselves. Let them give them independence so they can pay their salary of their workers, lecturers, themselves. All the government need to do is control the price of the school fees that they will charge all over for the university, which is what they do in UK. The central government tells the university you can't charge more than £10,000 for citizen, non-citizen £15,000. So, and the university follow that. The university take care of they pay their salary of their staff themselves. It's not from the central purse. But all the government is just the guideline, regulation, that's all. And they tell them this is their amount. But even then, before they get to that level, they have put the university into proper shape. When in Nigeria, hardly you can find all the university, hardly you can find 50 that have running water. So they have to carry buckets to go and be looking for water, no electricity, nothing. That's what made them lack. So they are studying the agonizing way, which is not okay. So that's why when any of them want to come over here, it's like a luxury to them. Everything is provided for you. Everything is there. So you don't need to struggle for anything.
Yes.
So you can study with ease. Your 3 years is 3 years. So if government can help the university to do that, that's why private universities are making money. So that the federal government should do that and renovate all the universities, put them in proper shape, and set them on their feet. Okay, from now on, be taking care of yourself. That would be better. Because how much is the salary that we are talking about that the government is owing them? It's a shame that people are giving lecture in that atmosphere and they are not getting their salary. You see, even junior lecturer in UK, they have between 35 to 50,000 pounds a year. You understand? That's a junior lecturer. I want to talk about professor 100,000 pounds. But in Nigeria, how much are they paying professor? So that's why I say I concur with my brother from Maiduguri that something good will happen and God will change Nigeria. We bless Nigeria. Good morning.
Good morning. We bless Nigeria. God bless Nigeria. Thank you very much, Ade, for that. He has said that in comparison with schools in outside the country, and it's not the first time, we see that Nigerian students who live here go outside the country and they excel. That is because there's an enabling environment, a creative environment that allows and boosts your intelligence and supports you. But when you come to a classroom where there's no fun, overpopulated, more than 100 or 200 students in a class, or 120 something students in a class that should take just 50 people. Everywhere is hot. The lecturer has probably taught like 4 different classes before then and is coming to your class exhausted, hungry, tired, angry that he's being owed salary. Please explain to me how education is probably going to move forward. Well, let's take this call. Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hello.
Hello, good morning. Can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly.
Yeah, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Muhammad. I'm calling from Zaria.
All right, Mohammed, thank you for joining us. Go ahead, share your thoughts with us.
All right. ASUU are trying their best, but if they're blaming the federal government at one side for not doing their part, we should try to tell the ASUU the normal thing and what they are supposed to do. How many of the projects done or supervised by those PhD lecturers entirely are sellable? In an advanced country, project is meant to better the life of people. It's to impact in people's life, it's to make life easier for people.
By project, do you mean student project, like the project they write?
Student project.
Okay,
yes.
okay.
We realize those projects are found in all these akara selling joints. These are projects that they spend money on. It should better the life of people. So when projects are sellable, the student that did the project would be eager to proceed in such research. But go to universities, you will see the heaps of projects. I finished university 2007. I did my project on rabbit. That rabbit should have been an impact on old people because of the low cholesterol. But who is sponsoring us? Nobody. So lecturers too should look inward. They should not only use this thesis or project just to get their promotion. How can this add value? University should be a kind of think tank where country can run to if there's a problem. But are our university up to this standard? We are saying government doesn't do this. Government, have they fulfilled their own mandate? Are they doing what is right? How many lecturers do go to classes at the right time? It is high time we look. When you go to the like of Unilag, you see a recent built an hall for them there. Is to support a recent project. Julius Berger should send their problem to civil engineering students. Oh, solve this problem for us. How can we build road with another material? How can we sustain this economy? That's how a country will move. And all these students will be involved in this development. Not to run to government, everybody is running to government. We are all sucking from the same pot. Nigeria can never grow like this. And governors should, as in all our leaders, our presidents, our governors, our political leaders should lead by example.
Absolutely.
People are watching. People are watching. Their leading is timely. When it gets to a point, people cannot take this thing again. It is unbearable for them. You can fool some people for some time, but you can't keep on fooling all the people all the time.
All right.
Yeah. They should wake up. People are watching them. You can't be living in luxury in Abuja and you are telling the lecturers, I can't pay so amount. It's wrong. What is the certificate? What is the status of those senators? Is it not these lecturers that taught them to that level they are? And they forgot who made them who they are. I want to suggest if a pastor or an imam can go to all these senators and rep every month and preach to them, maybe this thing will change them.
All right.
We need to fear God. That's my summary.
God. We need to fear God. Thank you very much. We elect leaders who have put the fear of God one side and then put the will to actually serve the people in another different cantonment, and they decide to move on their own. But yes, I love how you thank you very much for these two different angles. I love how you put the blame on both parties. The federal government on your part, invest in education in such a way that these educations can become research institutions to solve the country's problem. And the lecturers on your part, we have good lecturers. Let's not dispute that. We have very good lecturers in Nigeria. We have lecturers who are qualified and are capable of doing the job. But how many of them, like you said, actually go to class early? How many of them actually teach and are ready to update themselves? I had an experience in school. I realized that the note I was given for a particular course in my first year was the same note this lecturer has been giving all first year students. So I realized that I was able to pick up someone that has graduated, his first year notes, and he had graduated, and I was using that note for my first year because it was exactly the same thing the man was reading. So what is the difference? If you're reading the same notes for the past 8 years, there's no updates. There's probably an update in the course. There's probably a new development. There's probably a new research out there. There's something new on that course that should be updated 8 years after, not the same notes. So yes, I understand where this caller is coming from. Everybody has a role to play. Even the students, be serious, take it seriously. Like we saw a report yesterday saying that the federal government is moving towards changing the curriculum to making it more skill-based and moral value-based, which is very much needed, even for schools. The universities should be able to produce solutions to an extent to the country's economical problem, infrastructural problem, which is something we're looking forward to, which is also why ASUU is coming out to say, okay, pay us our money, number one, and number two, we want structures, we want infrastructures, we want the schools to be built better, we want things to move differently for the schools, we want all of this happening. So hence, we're asking your thoughts this morning, the back and forth between ASUU and the government, is strike. I have this question, is strike the only solution to the federal government listening? Because ASUU have always used strike action as a negotiation tactics for time immemorial now. So at this point, Do you believe that strikes are the only way ASUU can push their needs to the government? Do you believe strikes are the only way ASUU can get the government's attention? And has it been working? Personally, I don't think it's been working because, we're striking, and yes, the government will come out and make promises, and they will draft agreement, and they'll sign agreement, and the government will say, in your pocket. Whether they want to respond or not, that is ASUU's. Or they will come back in the next 3 months, and we'll sign the same agreements, and we'll move on. That's basically what has been happening. But the phone lines are open. Let's take your call. Let's take your reactions. We'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Between ASUU and the federal government, ASUU has threatened to go on a strike. What's your thought on it? Who's to blame, ASUU or the federal government? How does this affect our students? What roles are lecturers playing in it? All these questions. Let's get to analyze it here on the show. So the phone lines are open. Let's hear your thoughts. Now, at some point, we saw that Nigerian brain drain, with ASUU's issue unresolved, many academics are actually leaving the country. Lecturers are leaving the country for opportunities abroad, which leads to a brain drain crisis. So should there be more urgency on the part of the government when it comes to addressing these issues to, prevent Nigeria from losing top talent? So do you think that our educational system is at risk of losing its brightest academic minds because of this unresolved crisis, both on the part of the lecturers and on the part of the students themselves? We have bright academic students who can be of value to the Nigerian universities even after they've graduated, and they are leaving the country because they're looking for better opportunities and a straight, educational path that will not hamper or cut the educational journey. And on the part of the lecturers, we have lecturers who are really good and have the passion for the job and really want to impute values in the life of the students, and they have no choice but to leave the country because they can't continue with the back and forth between the federal government and the ASUU and the owing of salaries and allowances and the poor infrastructure. If there are no labs for you as a lecturer to teach, especially when it comes to practical courses, you might not be able to give your all because you have to turn this to theory and explain it practical in a theoretical way, which would, if you're someone who's really passionate about your job, you will not have the fulfillment at the end of the day because you know that there is more to that than just a theory. So is this making us lose class bright minds we have? These are all questions in the minds of Nigerians. These are all questions in the minds of even the lecturers themselves who are contemplating their next step after the ASUU strike. Would love to hear your thoughts. Do well to send us a WhatsApp message. Unfortunately, we've almost run out of time of this segment. So do well to send us a WhatsApp message. We're definitely going to take it in the course of the show. So yes, these are all questions and angles we have been able to look at on the show this morning, on this interactive session this morning. But we're going to be doubling up on the conversation in the course of the show, as we're going to be having a guest in the studio who would look at it critically and analyze this with us. We're also going to be having a detailed conversation on it, the federal government and ASUU, looking at the unresolved issues, how it's going to affect students. The way forward will all be discussed. So do not go anywhere. We've come to the end of this interactive session.